Hello, this is Ben the Ninja Rock with my latest project. It's been a while since I put up a video. I've not been on Minecraft for a while. Mostly because the map I was going through the Technic Pack on got corrupted and I lost all my stuff. Kind of went off it a bit. But I decided I'd build something new, something that I've not really delved into before. This project's taken a couple of weeks to complete. Basic idea in my head, but the specifics I had to work out as I needed them. This is an entirely self-contained, self-sufficient nuclear reactor, pumping out 1,200 EU per tick, hidden entirely inside a flying pirate ship. I call it HMS Nuclear Dawn. The reactor works using ice to counteract the heating caused by the uranium decay. The ice originates here, where two snow golems cover the block standing on in snow. The snow is then collected by two block breakers every half second, giving a rate of 4 snowballs per second. The snow is then pumped through this pipe system into 80 compressors, each of which compresses 1 snowball into 1 ice block every 20 seconds. Notice that the compressors use 4 transformer upgrades, which means they can accept extreme voltage. This is necessary because of the number of compressors I have connected to one MFSU. The MFSU is connected to the nuclear reactor through a high voltage transformer. But to kickstart the process I use generators connected to the MFSU. The ice blocks are extracted by transposers every 20 seconds and are piped to a chest in the reactor room, which is up here. The chest has 2 outputs. One leads directly to the nuclear reactor and outputs 4 ice blocks per second. This is the same as the amount of snowballs going into the compressor, so I don't get any backups in the system. The other leads directly to a transposer at the back of the ship that injects surplus materials into a pool of lava. And that's getting annoying. Oh wow, this guy's taking a while to kill. Right, now that that's done. The secondary output that leads to the waste disposal comes into effect when the uranium in the reactor runs out, but I'll show that later. The reactor actually consumes just under 3.7 ice blocks per second instead of the 4 per second that I'm pumping into it. So I have a restriction pipe down there which acts as a last resort. So if the container is full of ice, the ice is forced into this restriction pipe, which is then pumped out the back transposer, and you'll be able to see one just went out there. The reactor outputs its energy at the bottom of the chambers into a high voltage transformer, because it outputs about 1,200. In fact, I've got an EU 1,180, which is extreme voltage, which would blow up everything, or would blow up the MFSU that I've got storing the energy. So you see that's how there's two ways the power goes. One goes to this area, which leads to 9 mass fabricators. The other one leads through to power the compressors. The mass fabricators produce UU matter, which is stored here, transferred into an automatic crafting table. The reason I've got it switching from the red power pipes to the buildcraft pipes is the automatic crafting table doesn't work with buildcraft pipes, so that's why I've got to use those. So the diamonds are produced there, go into this chest, and that chest the diamonds from there and from this energy condenser, which is connected to dark matter relay and 2 energy collectors to supplement the diamonds from the mass fabricators, are piped down through here and into this cauldron, and the cauldron turns the diamonds into Viz and taint. The taint is unusable, so it gets piped into these Viz filters, and the usable Viz, which has many uses, is piped into the duplicator here, which is the only way I've found of obtaining uranium without mining it. This has been patched out since I started this project, but I just haven't updated my Technic Pack since then. The uranium bars are then pumped down through into this crafting table, where it will combine with your empty cells. The empty cells are made with another energy collector, energy condenser combo. This actually produces far more tin than I need, but the tin's pumped through into that pattern to produce empty cells, which are pumped through any waste cells, or since it produces too much, are pumped through into this chest, which are removed by this filter, which removes 10 at a time just to make sure that it doesn't overflow. The chest also accepts the uranium cells that are produced from the automatic crafting table, which are removed by this filter and taken up into that chest. The system produces at least 28 uranium cells every 2 hours 47 minutes, which is the running time for the reactor before the cells in there decay. The glass fibre cable running from the reactor has a EU detector cable, which when all of the uranium cells in the reactor decay will stop outputting EU, this redstone signal will turn off, and that signal runs to the ice chest, and it stops the timer that makes these transposers pulse, and starts the timer that makes these transposers pulse. So the box still has 4 ice per second extracted from it. It's just once the nuclear reactor stops needing ice, it's pumped out to the waste transposer. The other thing that the activation of, or the deactivation of that redstone or the EU detector cable is that it starts this timer, which pumps out a a uranium cell every 4 seconds. Sorry, every 4 every 10. That it produces, or it pumps out a uranium cell every 0.4 seconds, which goes into the reactor. Everything's color coded, so none of the pipes mix. The wireless. I've got the detector cable connected to a wireless redstone transmitter that sends the signal to the uranium box and to this area, which removes ice from the generator, nuclear reactor, sorry, to make sure that when the reactor stops needing ice, the ice that's in the pipes before it gets stopped doesn't take up a place that is needed for a uranium cell. It also removes the near depleted uranium cells that have a chance of being produced when a cell or when a uranium cell fully decays. I have no use for them in this situation, so it's just pumped out into waste and into lava. Since the system produces more uranium cells than the reactor actually needs, the excess is disposed of to prevent the system from backing up. So once the reactor is full, the uranium cells go through this restriction pipe and out through the transposer. And the only thing left to show you is what happens when the uranium cells run out. Right, the nuclear reactor is nearly done. You can tell by the number at the end of the bubble that comes up when you mouse over the uranium cells. When it gets to 10,000, the cell will decay. 10,000 because each cell or each uranium cell has 10,000 ticks, and it ticks just under once per second. Sorry, just over 1 per second. So you'll see what happens when these ones decay. See how some of them are turning into near depleted uranium cells, and the ice is filling up that. Right, and you'll see there how the ice is switched to the second output. The uranium started being pumped, and the ice is being pumped out of that to keep that first slot clear. So the uranium goes through and starts filling up the reactor. That stops the uranium being pumped, but there's enough in the pipes to fill it up. Then start this ice again, and the excess is thrown out the back. And there you go, complete switch over. And the ice is slowly refilling, and it's going to fill up all the rest of the slots. One thing I've added in this reactor is the ability to flush the chamber, and that will remove all the uranium cells. It will basically make the reactor think that all of the uranium's been removed. This is useful for demonstration purposes and stuff, but it's a lever connected to a timer connected to this filter which removes used uranium cells. Since the chest has no uranium in, or uranium cells in, I'm going to go ahead and create some manually with uranium that I have mined. And the uranium's going to come out, it's going to fill that chest. Well, it's not going to fill the chest, but it's going to be pumped out of the chest via this filter at a reasonably fast rate. In fact, I think I'm going to boost that a bit. So we're not waiting all day. And they go up to the chest. And the chest is full. And now, all I have to do is press that button, the lever, and it'll start extracting the uranium cells at the same rate that they were put in. So it's going to be exactly as if they were running out. So if we press that, out they come. The only difference between this method and the other method, or this method and them running out naturally, is that no near depleted uranium cells are produced. So I can turn that off. The EU detectors triggered the mechanism to get rid of the ice. The ice in there is being pumped out so that there's none in the first slot, and since it's actually producing EU now, it's stopped removing the uranium from the ice from there. So that'll start refilling with the ice from the chest, and all the uranium cells are just lying in there, except the waste ones which are chucked out the back. And that is pretty much it. Yeah, that's my self-contained, self-sustaining nuclear reactor.